Welcome, welcome! Today, September 12th. Welcome from Silhouette Pattern Land here in Dallas, Texas. We had beautiful weather today. No complaints. This was not a sewing day. And because I knew it was going to be really good weather, I had done all my sewing ahead of time so I could play. Sort of. Anyway, welcome everybody. We're glad to have you here tonight. We're going to talk about fall fashions. Oh my gosh, there's so many great styles out there. There's so many beautiful clothes. Every time I feel like, oh, I don't know what to do or I'm not sure of an idea, I go shopping. It's amazing. There's so many great ideas out there. You guys know that. And for those of you maybe who live a ways out and don't have the stores available to you, that's my job to bring it to you so you can see how many great things are out there. It's just amazing. The designers are just incredibly creative. It's just so much fun to see the new stuff. So always in the beginning, what we do with our webcast is it's a chance for you guys to ask questions. And we know they're not really detailed questions, but it gets a chance for you to get them off of your head and to where you can really listen to kind of the lesson that we're going to do tonight. So we love doing this. We know you're smarter. We know that we can't complain a bit. We love doing this. This is the best format for what we're doing. We have some other formats, but for this is the best thing, and I love the live interaction. So thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and hopefully last week we put up a YouTube on the Henley Placket, and we hope you saw that because it's a great placket to use for sports shirts. If you're going to do something for golf, tennis, sportswear, or just a fun little shirt that you wear, casual shirt, it's really an easy application to be able to sew that. Alright, so we are back in our room and questions can start away. You know what? One day we're not going to have any questions because y'all are going to be so smart that we won't even need to do this part. Of course, really, I think smart people ask questions, so that means you're already smart. So forget that last statement. The placket is easy. Yeah, the comment was we made the placket look so easy. I'm telling you, it's good methods. It's really all about good methods. For some reason, I was thinking today about when I first started in the sewing industry, and the ladies who were like the big head honch teachers at that time, were just really not nice to me. They were really critical and they were just mean. I don't know, they were just mean. I was the newbie on the block. But anyway, I remember thinking, like, I'm not a good sewer, but I have really good methods and really easy methods, and so everything kind of looks easy and everything feels doable to me because there's a good method to do it. So whenever you're thinking about sewing something, if you feel like you don't want to make it for a certain reason, just look around. The YouTube is great, obviously, today because we can pull up so many methods and so many great ways of doing things. So it's a huge advantage. Is the Henley placket the same technique as on the sleeve of the men's shirt? No, it's done differently. I have seen Henley plackets done the same on a men's shirt, but the method that I showed and put up is much easier than a men's shirt. And why they're done differently, I don't know. I follow factories, so they don't do them the same in the factory. They do them differently. So I followed the way they did it. We have a men's shirt placket, I think, up on YouTube. And then we also have the Henley placket, so you can see them both. But I have seen Henley plackets done like men's shirt sleeves. I just don't think you don't need all that bulk. A shirt sleeve you do because you're using a lighter fabric, but the Henley placket, you don't need all those layers. Just an idea. Thank you for having a child's yoga skirt pattern in with the adult one, no problem. It was a perfect first project for my 10-year-old granddaughter. Can I request you making a sweater set in a child's pattern? We have one. It's the hoodie and top, number 10. It's the sweater set. It's the same thing. It just has, we put a hoodie on it. So use the number 10 and that will work. Oh, you're saying in the same pattern. Yeah, we don't have it in the same pattern. The reason being is there's too many, um, where we, oh, you weren't saying in the same pattern? Oh, okay. If you're not saying in the same pattern, we have it number 10. If you are saying the same pattern, there's only so many pieces that we can put into an envelope, and once we exceed that, we have to break it off to another pattern. So that's why number 10 was not put in with number 195, but it is the young girls. We have the whole Me Too collection. I think there's a page online, the Me Too grouping, that you can go in and see. And we love it when these young girls are sewing. There's a yoga pant, there's the yoga skirt. So good. We're glad to hear that you love it, that you have success with it. And 110. 110's another one, Kiana's top. And Kiana designed that. She was, I think, 15 at the time. She might be like married and in college or married and have kids now. But anyway, at the time she was, young. But anyway. All right. Anything else? Would a stretch silk work for the front of Ronan's top than a knit back? Yes. Stretch silk can take the place of a knit as long as the stretch silk, you just have to accommodate for size. But yeah, stretch silks are beautiful. Ronan's top is the one I have on, and it does have, this one doesn't, just because it's heavier fabric, but I have it in a lighter weight fabric, and the little part that goes down here, the asymmetric part, sometimes will curl open. So just be aware, depending on what fabric you're using, that if you don't want the back side to show, be careful of that. Just that it doesn't flip open. If I fit the yoga pants for crotch depth and height, will it transfer to jeans? Probably. Pretty close. Jeans, I'm going to assume that it's a non-stretch jean. If it's a stretch jean, yes, it will probably literally transfer exactly. But if you're talking a non-stretch jean, we wear jeans so close to the body that it probably would be real close to the same. Yes. I just received my new patterns today. Yay! Is the Ronan's top shown with 83 Colette's wrap? Is the wrap lengthened? It is not. Most of the time when we put the patterns on the front cover, I say most of the time because there are some cases of some examples from the past where we did do changes, but no, it's exactly like it is at the pattern. No changes were made. It's so good to be here, you guys. It's good to see everybody. Gosh, we've been so busy. I don't even know with what, but it has just been so busy. Just a lot of orders, maybe a lot of planning. We filmed a new DVD. We have the new patterns. There's just been so much going on, and it's fun and it's exciting, but it just feels like a lot. Any tips for petites sewing capes? Well, the good news with capes is you can just cut them off the bottom. I think that in all perspectives, whatever you shorten a normal amount by, the cape generally goes just below your crotch, just below your rear end. So just once you measure how far that is and then measure the pattern, or just throw together a muslin just with two, with basic pattern pieces. Don't do the pockets, don't do the zipper, don't do the hood, don't do all that. But just put it together to see the length. But it should just go to the bottom, below your crotch, below your rear end and the back. And as long as it's that, you can shorten it really anywhere. Just don't, but I've seen a lot of capes for fall that are long too. So you just, again, it's all proportions. Just make sure that you have it in proportion and that it doesn't kind of fall in between no man's land type thing. If I take away from the back neck of a blouse to stop the back from pulling back and strangling him in the front, how do I still add a collar? Well, the collar and the neckline are a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you're taking away from the back neck, you're making it longer. So you have to lengthen the collar, and generally you can do that right at center back. Most collars are put on a fold at center back. So if the back neck is 3 and you've made it 3.5, then take the back collar and move it a ½ inch off the fold, or add it back there and make a new pattern piece for it. Very simple to do. Just notice how much longer you've made the back neck and then make the collar that same amount, and I would put it in the back just to make sure you're doing it right. In many cases it doesn't matter where along the collar line you put it, but just to make sure you don't kind of run into the ditch, I'd put it in the back as well, just to make sure they align. Is it okay to put a flat fell center seam in 112? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I think if I redid it again, the original didn't have a seam, and so I didn't put a seam in the pattern, but I honestly think I'd put the seam in, and the reason being is that seam is kind of when you're marking it and putting it on and figuring out where the middle is, that seam is kind of the part that always goes behind your neck, no matter what you're doing, which style you're wearing. So it's so much easier to have the seam to where you can just grab it and you don't have to kind of hold it out and find it. So actually, when I was doing fashion shows, I actually initially made seams so that the models could get it off and on faster. And it, yeah, absolutely, you could do a seam there. It doesn't have to be flat fell, again, because it goes behind your neck, so it wouldn't be a big deal either way. Do you carry the long zippers to use on the cape? We do. If you go into the notions page, it's on the notions page, and then you'll see a thing that says other things, zippers, and you can go to, it's like the second notions page. So look down to the bottom right hand side and you'll see some print, and then that will take you to other notion pages. We have too many notions now. Oh, they're on the first page, sorry. They're on the first page. But we've got more notions coming. We've got some fun new products. Do you sell the Teflon sewing machine foot? No, we don't. We don't sell any sewing machine accessories. The Teflon foot, there's two types of Teflon foot. One is a foot that you can make into a Teflon foot, and there's like these little Teflon adhesive pieces that you can buy and you can stick them onto the bottom of the foot. Unless that's the only way you can get a Teflon foot for your machine, I would recommend you not do that. And the reason I say that is because I've seen a gal in class who had done that and the edges were coming off, and she kept catching her fabric on the edges of that Teflon adhesive where it was coming off a little bit. So the Teflon foot, almost every machine dealer, I think, if it's somewhat current, will have a little foot, and it's it is a Teflon foot. It's made where the Teflon is the bottom of the foot, so there's no sharp edges. It's smooth, and I think it's the way to go. Even though it definitely, I'm certain it will cost you a little more, I think it's definitely the way to go. All right. What's the difference between ITY knit and Poncho knit? Quite a bit, actually. Well, first off, they're both names of weaves. So ITY is interlock twisted yarn. It is the way the yarn is twisted to make it thinner and thinner, and the thinner the yarn is, the closer they can smash it together, and the more drape the garment has. So ITY knit is a very, like this, it's a very soft, drapey, very drapey, probably one of our most drapiest fabrics available. And ITY knits, while I anticipate that we'll start seeing them out of other fibers, right now they're all polyester. They're 100% polyester. They're pretty good polyester, but they're all a polyester, the ITY knit. The Poncho is a very fat yarn, and it has a lot of space in between it. So it reminds me more of the double knit polyester of the 60s or the 70s. Certainly not that plasticky, but definitely more airspace between. And the Poncho knit is what we make the yoga pant out of. We make a lot of dresses out of them. I don't have anything here in the Poncho knit tonight, but it's a great all-around fabric, but it doesn't have a lot of drape. It lays smooth and it's nice, but it's not a real drapey fabric per se. So Poncho knit they're two different knits, but to try to describe the knits, the Poncho is a much fatter yarn, and it's a much more open weave, not open, but loose weave than the ITY. ITY is very compressed, very tight, and so this drape is all over the place. Also with the Poncho, while it initially was a poly spandex or a polyester, it has come out in 100% wool ponturoma knit. There's 100% rayon ponturoma knits. There's all kinds of different threads that go with that weave. Where again, right now in ITYs, the only thing I've seen is a poly ITY. So just to contrast that. But ponturoma has been around longer than ITY. ITY is fairly new. The technical labs have come up with this to get a really beautiful draping fabric, still using a polyester. It'll morph to other fibers most likely, sometime soon. What is the new DVD about? Pocket Perfection Principles is the new DVD, all about pockets. Sewing all the different kinds of pockets, placement, the pattern work for them, scaling them down, proportions, everything about pockets. Pocket Perfection Principles is what we call it. It's in the oven right now. It's cooking. How do you figure proportions if you have more than 2 pieces? For example, a bolero jacket with a long shirt and a skirt. You still take all of the pieces and use them as if they were one, and that's the beauty of proportions. So for instance, if you had a bolero jacket will have a proportion that say is it's probably a 1:3. So if you measure from shoulder to knee, 1 is going to be the bolero jacket. Depends on how long the bolero jacket is, but just as example, 1 will be the jacket and then 3 will be the rest of the body. So then if you have a shirt and the shirt comes to a certain place on you, and then you have pants, and pants are a given, you don't really have to worry about those, you should always proportion all of those pieces to your body. Then when you put them together, they will all be proportioned automatically because they're proportioned to your body. So that's the beauty of knowing the proportions and making sure you watch the proportions, because it expands your wardrobe to where you can wear this piece with this piece and this piece with this piece. You get a much more usable wardrobe simply because the pieces work interchangeably and you don't have to go back. If those pieces are proportioned to your height, you don't have to go back in and reproportion them as you put them together, and that's a wonderful thing. We have that all in My Very Best Dressed Me, the book. We only have it in book form so that you can physically see the difference between the proportions and the difference it's making on the women we put them with. Okay? All right. Are we good? 8:20? Here, let's talk about this. I sent Peggy... You can go back to that? No? No. But let me address it. I sent Peggy an email about Nikki's top, hoping for an answer, but we'll ask again if she didn't get it. Hey, you guys, just a reminder, every single email I get, I answer. So if you don't get an answer, I did not get the email. So be a promise. I don't say, oh, I'm not going to answer that email today. Never, ever, ever. I answer every single email. So check the spelling of silhouette, copy and paste it off the website. That might help. But anyway, just to say that, go back, sorry. If she didn't do it, do the cross pieces, are they stretched to meet the side seams? They are. Once they cross and once they weave through the front, they're pulled to the side seams. I did have a lady who said her side seams, she had widened the top at the bottom, and so those pieces didn't go to the side seams, and so she had to add length. And you should add length to them equal to the amount that you added through the hips. If you went from one size to another, then go from one size to another on the length of those strips. Okay, pretty easy, but just easy to forget something like that when you're cutting it out. All right, and then we had one last one, I think. Did you make the cape using the wrong side of the fabric for the pattern cover? I got my fabric today and found both sides usable. One has more sparkles. Let me go over that and we'll answer that. All right. Sounds great. I used the side with the more sparkles on the outside. I think. I'll check. I'll double check. All right, so the first thing I want to do is go through what is the fall fashion, what's going on and what's happening, and I think it's really interesting to note, and I'm not really sure why. I know I've seen it in our business, and what I mean is we're not selling fall fabric in fall and summer fabrics in summer. We're selling all fabrics all year round. Now, part of that, I think, is because we ship internationally, and so our season here is different than it is around the world. You know, different places obviously at different seasons. And because it is difficult for women in all places to find fabric, we are paying more for fabrics to have them shipped. I mean, you know, internationally sometimes the fabric shipping costs are as much as the fabric, and yet, you know, I email the women, are you sure you want this? Yes, we absolutely want it, and, you know, we just charge them the shipping price. Well, I think this trend of, because as a world we are, I think, becoming more like one. I think we communicate more. I think we obviously we travel, but we order internationally. We order all over the world, and we don't think anything. If there's a product we want and it's available somewhere else, we order it, we get it, and it arrives. I think because of that kind of at one, designers, I believe for the first time this fall, we're seeing whites and laces through the fall. I've never seen white shown at a fall fashion show, and it is showing not only white but white cotton. So I think that's a really interesting thing, that the spring fabrics, the summer fabrics, are being taken into the fall. One could argue that it's economy and they don't want to get rid of their fabrics. Any of those things could be possible, but I don't think the high-end designers would compromise their look, if they never have before, for a simple white cotton blouse. I don't see that really being the reason. I think we are just literally dressing year-round for the seasons that happen, and we can make our wardrobes a little more flexible. So I think that's exciting, because what traditionally was fall fabrics, we're seeing spring fabrics going into fall, whereas a white blouse, and interestingly enough, this is a strong trend, and I did this for this reason, the strong trend is a white blouse being worn off the shoulder. And if it's not worn off off both shoulders, it's being worn off one. And what I like when you do a pattern like this, now we made a new pattern grouping up. This is pattern 615, and on the very front of the website, if you look at it, we did 3 patterns. They all represent fall strongly. Is the 615 the trench coat? The trench coat is still permeating very, very much all over. It's done in patent leather, it's done in plaid, it's done all kinds. But can you imagine a trench coat just draped over this? And you really see that it can work. The sleeves of the trench coat are larger, so they go over the sleeves here. But what I like about this little blouse is it can come up and be worn up, or it can be taken off the shoulder later on. So the flexibility, but this one shoulder off the shoulder is very strong trend for fall. And again, it's typically a summery look, but it's taken through fall, and it's done quite a bit. Lace and ruffles are very popular for fall also. I'm going to show you how to make a ruffle, because you all could add ruffles anywhere you want. They're very simple to make, and I think it's important to understand how to make them. And they're doing big bell sleeves and several layers. And again, it's just the pattern work. It's a very short-lived trend. That's not something that will probably last long. So here in a minute, I'll show you how to do that. Even before we do that, I think I got off a little bit. I really want to start with fabrics. The fabrics that are popular right now, fur is large. Fur is very big. And a lot of your textured fabrics, your fur, your corduroys even made a comeback. Not anything wildly, but we're still seeing corduroy. The crushed velvet. I want to show you this, because the crushed velvet is a very thin crushed velvet. Like, this is a two-way stretch. I would use this for leggings, and that's where you're seeing it a lot. You're seeing the crushed velvet in leggings or jeggings, or the pull-on skinny jean. This is going to be my pull-on skinny jean, and you can see that there's great drape. It's a poly, and it just, I mean, it's tremendous. It's great stuff. So for fabrics, we have a velvet, we have the crushed velvet, we have furs, we have metallic, very shiny. Of course, generally when we do fall, we bring in the holiday. Even though there's a separate season for holiday, we actually usually include it in fall. And so this is really a fun look for holiday. With this particular fabric, it's shiny on one side, and then it's solid on the other. So this would be awesome for a reversible, and my intent would be like to make 85, the sweater wrap, or 95, Brooks top. It would just be a beautiful something over a simple base tank and pant. That 3200 pant, I don't want to, I'll go back to it, but a very slim leg is what you want for fall. If you're not doing a stretch pant, if you're not doing the skinny pant, if you're not doing any of those. Stripes, just everywhere. The stripes, you know, personally, a little while ago I looked at my wardrobe and I counted how many striped tops I have, and while I won't reveal the number, it was a lot, and I just love stripes. I don't know what it is, but then I followed that up with, I actually went to the store and I looked around to count how many striped tops there were, and you guys just won't believe how many there are. They're everywhere. So next time you go to the store, or even when you're looking around online, look how many stripes there are. They are fun, no question. And I think one reason they've risen in popularity is designers can take them and twist them in different ways and really get a great look out of them. So they're really a lot of fun to use. I'm going to remind you of two patterns that will do stripes easily for you. One is Vincent's dress, which is 4013, and I actually made that up so I can show it to you. This is a new fabric that we put online. We just put it a couple days ago. So not only is it stripes, but it's variegated stripes. So the top of the bolt is dark, the bottom of the bolt is dark, but the middle is this lighter. So I took the lighter and put it at the top, and then I let it go all the way down to the lower at the bottom. And then we have this beautiful matching, this is a linen knit, it's really a beautiful piece, and so I coordinated with that. This is the Way Cardi, it's the brand new, the 196. So you can see it's just a great outfit, easy for now, for fall. The colors, the blue will work well in for a while, and so I just really love stripes, just love stripes. There's another example here of the pant. Again, great stripes. These pants are going to go with this blouse. And again, the blouse I made a little bit longer so that I could wear them with this little skinny jean. This is the new pattern, the skinny jean. And then what I can do is just throw a trench coat over, and you can see that it will take it much farther into fall as long as there's a trench coat involved, because that trench coat screams fall just really loudly. All right, then we want to talk about plaids. A lot of our plaids today, right now, we don't have a lot of plaids. We have some coming in, but we have just a few pieces of what we have. They are reversible plaids, and so they're just really, really beautiful. I'm going to show you the one that we made the cape out of, because I just don't think I could have found a better fabric. I really wanted to accentuate the just the lines of the cape. There's a princess seam here. The pocket gives a chance. It is reversible, and I put the shiny side on the outside just simply because I liked it. I don't think there's a right and a wrong. The beautiful thing about some of these reversibles is they're just beautiful on both sides. So it's totally up to you as to which side you want in or which side you want out. But a lot of the plaids we're seeing are reversible. We'll show it. We'll show it. Hang on. Let me get through fabrics and then we'll get to the cardigan. Alright, so the other fabrics that we're seeing a lot of is denim. Denims are actually, believe it or not, coming back, but they're not coming back in the typical fashion. They're like almost being quilted. They're cut up, sewn back together, which I find that to be fascinating. But what designers are doing is feeling like it is their stamp on denim, to cut them up and put them back together in different ways. Over the years they've been ripped up, they've been deconstructed. It is a deconstruction, but it's to a higher level. It's really kind of messed up. Florals are huge for fall, which typically we don't see them in the fall, we see them in the spring. Florals are really strong. So if you like florals, it's the way to go. Shearling. Shearling has been around for a long time. There are the faux shearlings and the real shearlings. I love shearling. I love to work with it. Leather Impact, if you want to go for the real stuff, it's not inexpensive, but if you want to, they have a beautiful shearlings. Okay, so let's just go back over it. You've got your crushed velvet, you've got your stretch velvet, regarding the weight of the stretch velvet, will it show every bump? I don't think so. No, I mean, keep in mind, you're going to do a skinny jean. I've got them on. I've actually got the stretch velvet on. You're going to do a skinny jean, but you're going to have a top that goes over it. So all of your bumps are going to be concealed by the top that you're wearing over. And that's the one that you want to focus on, where the skinny jean is going to be below and you're not going to see anything anyway. But I will tell you, when I did this top with this, when I put these on, these are skinny, they're small. But when I put this top on, it's loose, and I added some extra length so that nothing's going to show that I don't, that I don't want to show, if that's fair. So for women, all sizes, all ages, whatever, the legging, the skinny jean, the pull-on skinny jean, I don't care what you call it, get it. 5 years ago, you all told me, no, I can't do that again. It's still in, and it's trending stronger. We're not going away from it. So just suck it up, put it on, and wear it, because you look really good. And no, you don't look like a bowling pin or all these other things I've heard you guys tell me you look like. You don't. You look great. You will look thinner if you silhouette the body and make it look thin, and then wear something over the top. Okay, then let's talk about styles. So we talked about the off shoulder. I wanted to talk about that first. We've talked about ruffles. Let me show you how to do that. The example I'm going to use is just a sleeve. This is not full scale. This is a smaller scale. And I'm just going to use this as an example that we want like a bell sleeve, something at the bottom. So we're going to cut these in two. Anytime you cut in two, you're going to add seam allowance and add back together. Then this portion, this is all styling. So we're just going to cut it up, and we're going to spread as much as what we want to. So if you are designing this, I would recommend, and this is why I'm always recommending shopping, is because you could measure the bottom and know exactly how much to spread this to. Whereas if you don't, then you're just guessing. But anyway, this will get spread open. Generally, it's 1 to 1.5. So this is 1.5 times larger than this area you cut, or what it was originally. If you want to go really full, you could go 1 to 2. The advantage of putting the cuts in there is you notice that the hem is rounded, and that's how you want it to be. You want to follow the curves of those pieces. That's why you make several cuts, not just one big one, or not just adding to the side. The cuts actually will keep the hem even along the bottom, and then so when it falls, it will fall correctly. Again, I add seam allowance, I sew it back together, and you can see I can get a fitted sleeve up to the elbow, and then I can get the fullness down below. If I want, I can add more layers. This is Kathy's blouse, it's 615. So what I did is I took this lace, I just put this lace up for sale today. We just got it in. It's a beautiful white lace, and white lace is really popular for fall. White lace, I mean, who'd have thunk? But anyway, it is. So I actually did 2 layers of this. And you could, if you wanted to, make it longer and gather it a little more. Several ways you could do it, but this is just such a pretty little blouse. You could add 3 layers. You could do as many layers as you wanted. I just wanted a little extra, and so I put 2 layers on there instead of 1, and I just sewed them together before I put them on. Very easy to do. So ruffles, lace, all of those things are really in. Turtlenecks are being worn under dresses. It's really funny because I grew up in Miami, Florida, and I remember when it was cold in the morning, we'd put on a turtleneck under our dress, and then by the time it was noon, it was 100 degrees, and we'd take the turtleneck off. So it's hard for me to imagine that this is fashion now, but they're showing it quite a bit. I think there's times where it looks great, and I think there's times where it just looks really silly, but there's so many beautiful fabrics we can make turtlenecks out of that it really is a possibility. Pantsuits, top and bottom are matching again. We go through these periods where they're not matching and then they are matching, and don't wear anything that matches. Now they're matching again. The miniskirt, if you guys are really excited, the miniskirt is coming back, but again, it matches the jacket. I'm not sure why you'd wear a jacket with a miniskirt, but hey, it seems a little conflict of where you're going and what you're doing. I'm just reporting the fashion, not creating it. So the pantsuits, the top and bottom matching, and the trench coat. Again, the trench coat is really big. Capes, wraps, cover-ups, asymmetric, all of those things are incredibly popular. And I think one reason they are is there's been lots and lots of focus and lots of attention drawn to designers not being able to go to the larger sizes, and women want nice things. They're not a size 14, they're larger, they want something beautiful to wear, and wraps kind of bridge that gap of where designers can't necessarily fit that larger size, but or they don't have that larger size, but they can do a wrap in a beautiful fabric and everybody loves it and everybody feels good in it. So the wraps, I don't think, are going away anytime soon. We love them. We love to cuddle up in them. They're practical, they're warm, they're beautiful, etc., etc., and I think they'll stay. Asymmetric, again, with hemlines is skirts, tops, everything is asymmetric. I don't know if we can't cut straight or sew straight, but the good news is it's all asymmetric at the bottom. And then, of course, the skinny pants. The reason we put 3200 in this group is because it has a narrow leg at the bottom. And 3200, that look, again, this with a skinny jean, skinny pant, it doesn't matter which one, with a trench coat, is a great look. So keep that in mind. All right, let's talk about colors, and then we'll go and we'll highlight each of the new patterns, why I did them, and how they bring in all of the fall fashion principles together. That's the goal. I think as long as we're going to sew, why not sew what's current? Why not sew what's current color that we like? Why not keep on trend? I guess I just enjoy clothes enough that I just don't want to sew something that's, I don't know, outdated. How do you say that? The blues are the strongest of colors for fall. Sorry, the blue. There's a really beautiful, we used to call it cobalt. Every time they come out with colors, I always wonder, gosh, did they just make up these names or what? No, they don't make them up. But anyway, it's like a cobalt blue. It's a really beautiful, and then there's a lighter blue. It's not a baby blue, it's darker than a baby blue, but it's a really beautiful, both of those blues are really, really beautiful. There's a shark skin. This gray is really right on the shark skin. It's the shark skin that's popular, is this dark kind of gray, and this is right on. This fabric is just all right down the way is trending. It's the suede, it's the stretch, it's the color, it's texture, everything makes it a fabric that's right for fall 2016. Red and rust. I think that it's interesting because they're saying that pumpkin spice, which is a really deep rust, is a color everybody can wear and everybody will do well on. I really haven't seen it yet. I actually haven't even seen it in the stores. You did see it in the fashion runways for fall when we watched last spring, but I see nothing in the stores yet that's doing the pumpkin spice. I do think it's a pretty color. If anybody finds it or sees it or whatever, give me a shout out because I haven't seen it yet. It could be it's just too new yet. The fall fabrics, the designers usually cut and sew the garments and ship them in July. The fall fabrics we usually start to see around the beginning of September. I'm going to New York in a couple weeks. Then I may see it come up then, but it may just be that it's a little bit too early to see it right now. Taupe's a beautiful color. It blends well with the other colors that are popular. It's really beautiful with the gray as well as with the blues. Mustard, fuchsia, those are not colors that I really like. They're too pale. I don't like mustard at all. Yellow, of all the fabrics I ever have, yellow is the worst color selling color of every fabric I ever have. Yellow. If you love yellow, more power to you, but the majority of the people just don't like yellow, so I'm not sure what to tell you about that. There are a lot of spring tones in these fall clothing, so if there's something you like in the spring and you're just not tired of wearing it yet, I would say keep on keeping on. Put it under a coat or put it under something to where it layers well. So just some other little trends that I wanted to mention. Boots over those knees. Remember those boots I bought a little while ago? They're still so hip. Over the knee is still really, really popular. If you haven't got them, go get them. They're just fun. You can wear the oldest things in the hill and put those boots on and all of a sudden you're up to date. As far as jewelry goes, the choker. I keep thinking, okay, wait a minute, we're back in the 60s. But the choker has gotten really popular. Every kind of heel imaginable. They're very, very chunky. But in every store, everywhere, there's flats. And so never before have I really seen so many different kinds of shoes and so much acceptance on whatever kind of shoe we want. There's really no This is the in thing, which it used to be with shoes. And then the last thing I want to mention is there's a lot of metal on clothing. There's a lot of chains. There's a lot of snaps. This is the poncho that I did, the new cape pattern. I'll bring it out here in just a minute. I didn't want to put a zipper down the front. I just wanted to, because I wanted to keep it simple. I think for a lot of you who make clothing, you don't want to do zippers. You don't want to do all that. So I just put a little clasp on the top here. And that little clasp, again, I'll show it to you in a minute. Just a little metal clasp. It's in our Notions thing, but it's a great, it's kind of like a gunmetal gray, so it's really a beautiful blend with the grays today. It's very, very pretty. Alright, so any questions I can answer just on that, and then let's go over the new patterns. We've got our little set. It's called, I can't remember, it's on the front page. It's called Fall Forecast Group. Fall Forecast Group is the three of them. Fall Forecast Group. Okay, so let's go over the new patterns and we'll show all the variations of what we do with them. Okay. Do you think pattern 4015 is that Vincent's dress can be lengthened with a gradual flare? 4015 can, no, that's Sophia's dress. I'm sorry. What's the question? Can be lengthened with a gradual flare past the knee. Sure. Sure. You know, you just have to really, I would not do it before you're familiar with the pattern. Always, I would get familiar with the pattern, and then once you felt comfortable with it, maybe made it at least once, then you can kind of put the dress on. You can say, this is where I want the flare to start. You can kind of start designing. And of course you could. Absolutely. You just change up the style. But you guys know it's your clothes. You can style them however you want, right? Fringe on, you know, interestingly enough, it's actually not being called fringe, it's being called bohemian. And the bohemian, some of the designers definitely showed bohemian, but they didn't really show it in fringe. Now, it doesn't mean it won't show up here in another little while, but it's more sequins and beads and kind of glitter added on top of things. I haven't seen a lot of fringe, but again, I will tell you that the fall forecast versus what's in the stores, there's definitely a discrepancy between the two. And I think it's simply because designers are having to buy back clothing from the major department stores. If those clothes that they put in don't sell, the designer has to take the markdowns on those. So designers are being really careful. A lot of times if you go to boutiques, whoever the boutique is, you'll find a much more aggressive garment or a much more fashionable garment because they're willing to kind of splurge a little bit. They can mark it down and they don't have to worry about the markdowns, so they find themselves going a little bit more aggressive on the boutiques that they own themselves. The department stores have a little bit more conservative flair to them than what the boutiques do, just an FYI. Okay? Any of these fall patterns going to be POM? None of the fall patterns will be POM, and none of the fall patterns will be available to switch out for POMs until 2017. For the rest of the balance of this year, if you're a POM member, you cannot switch out for a new pattern until 2000 for the balance of this year. Okay, just appreciate somebody bringing that up because I probably should have said that. Okay, so let's look at number. We'll start with 96, which is BJ's cape, and BJ sent that to me. So BJ, if you're watching, thank you. Love the cape, love the look. This is actually a princess seam. So the nice thing is, and I incorporated all of the things that were strong for fall. Hoodies are strong. Hoodies are part of garments, so there's a hood on there. You don't have to put it on, but I wanted to include it in the pattern so that you could. You certainly don't have to add pockets, but I just love pockets, and I think it's just a great look. Zip up the front because so many of us don't like putting ponchos over our heads. There isn't any reason why you couldn't leave out the zipper and close up the center front, and it could just be a poncho that goes over your head. But for people like me who really just don't like putting a poncho over my head, I really like to put it on and zip it up for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but I like to. Again, this is a beautiful fabric, and you can see that it's just very, very simply done. I made up a couple. This one back here does not have a zipper up the front, so you can see it's just open. I still put the hood on there. and then I just put a little clasp so that you can undo it, take it off, put it on, almost like a little Robin, what's it called? Red Riding Hood? Robin, is that, no, Red Riding Hood. I don't know why I'm putting Robin in there, but I guess it's just Red Riding Hood. That's kind of what it reminds me of, but I love capes. I love them because it's all about the fabric, and really you just want to find the fabric that's fabulous, and then the cape just makes it better. It doesn't take away, or it doesn't, it just makes it better. Okay? Alright, so that's 96. 196 is the four-way Cardi. So many requests to make this. I kind of had buckled down, and there was a few things that I changed from the sweater set, because the Cardis that I was buying, this initial was from Nick and Zoe. It was a little bit different. The neckline was a little bit different, and so I tweaked all those things, and I love this final product. I really, really love it. I think it hangs better. It's wider through the top here. It's closer into the neckline than what the sweater set is. I love it. Okay, so the 4 ways to do this, it's called the 4-way Cardi, is there's a little buttonhole on each of these ends right here, right at the bottom. There's a little buttonhole, and there's one button at the side seam on the inside, and there's one button at the side seam on the outside seam. So the first way is this comes over to here, this comes over to here, and it just hangs, and it kind of almost has like a cowl, not a cowl neck, but it has a beautiful cowl front. So if you're making this larger at the hip line, you want to make sure that you wouldn't have to worry about it, because if you're making it larger at the hip line, it'll automatically work, so you don't have to worry about it. You can easily close up the dart and go from one size to another, and I love the way this is worn. Alright, obviously, and all 4 ways to wear this are in the pattern. Each has a picture to how to do it. Obviously, and the way I wear it most of the time is just open. Then just tie a knot right at front, one up, and let it go. And then the other way is to take it, and it has to be a little bit tighter. You take these back to the sides, or you can take them to the opposite sides, either way, and you have like a little knot in the middle. It's called twisted, and instead of these ties hanging down, they both go to the other side and they go back to their perspective buttons. Okay? Beautiful. Such a beautiful little top. I could tell you, if I don't wear this top every day, I wear it at least every week. Not this top, but I'm over my limit. And you guys, coming up is fall, and it means we're going to have to tear apart our closets now and get rid and clean out and make a new plan. So we're going to do that like in a couple times from now. We've just got to get that done so that we can make it work the best it can. And these are definitely going to be part of my fall grouping. I love the blues. The blues are just really beautiful. Okay, so everybody got these 4 ways for this little cardigan? I love this fabric. Alright, then the next one is the one I have on, and it is called Ronan's Top, and it is an asymmetric, I don't know how to describe it. You guys can see the picture, but I love the way it's constructed. I know you can't see how it's constructed here, but it's not done right sides together. It's just beautifully done. It is absolutely beautifully done. I fell in love with this top the minute I saw it. It feels so good to have it on. It's beautiful. It's just a beautiful top because of the asymmetric. It just has a really good line. It's very slimming. Except, well, you guys can tell me if it's slimming. Maybe you'll say, nope, that doesn't look slim on you. You look fat. But anyway, I love it on. I just love the feeling of it when I have it on. And just wear it with leggings. So it's a really easy top to make. It's quick. The base again is the sweater set, even though there's a side panel in this as opposed to the sweater set. So there's a lot of pattern making work. As easy as it is, there's a lot of pattern making work in it to just convert it over. But anyway, so that's that one. And then the last one is the pull-on skinny jean. And the reason I did this is 2 reasons. I love detailing on pants. I just love the detail on these pants. So the first reason I did it is because I just loved the knee detailing. There's a knee, almost like a knee patch kind of. I just love the look of having different details on leggings rather than just having straight leggings all the time. I love the details. So this, if I know it's hard to see on here, but if you kind of look very carefully, we were really careful to draw the picture. This has the 2-inch elastic on the inside of this pant, but it's finished. It's the finished product. So I just love this pant. I'm telling you, from the time I saw it, it's just so well made. It's so beautiful. I just love the way it looks. The pockets are still there. The whole look of the, skinny jeans are still there, but it's a pull-on. It does have a faux front so that it looks like there's a fly front even though there's not. Just a great look. Love the look. Just cute as can be. Very simple and easy to make. They fit beautifully. I've just had so many emails from women who have gone in and said, I love the way these fit. They fit amazing. They don't take a lot of time to make, so don't think, oh, they'll take me forever to make. Just follow the directions, just bit by bit, and soon enough they'll just be made. Today when I was, or not today, but when I was making this top, I hadn't made Kathy's blouse in a while, and I was following my directions, and it went together so beautifully. It's really fun to kind of go back, and can't remember how I put it together, but to follow the directions and have them work, it's really nice. So I know that sounds really silly, but the skinny jeans go together really, really quick. And I love the fact that they're pull-on. And I think the reason I like that, number one, the way they look, but also just sometimes when I make a skinny jean, I'm always running around looking for a zipper. And as long as you have a whole bunch of elastic to do the top, then you're good to go. So just that little bit of elastic there is showing. But the elastic's down inside the pant. It's awesome. All right. Questions. Could you make the pull-on skinny jean with stretch denim? You should make the pull-on. Yes. It has to be a stretch. So it doesn't matter if it stretches one way or two, but you need to have at least stretch. Yes. How would the pockets work if the cape is reversible? Are you able to have pockets on both sides? The cape is not reversible. Did I say it was reversible? No, the fabric's reversible, not the cape. So the pockets wouldn't work. And I'm not a big reversible person, to be honest. There's times I love tank tops that are reversible. I like t-shirts, like if you're traveling and you want a different look, you can just turn it inside out. But I think for the most part, I end up wearing it the same way all the time anyway. So the cape, I'm sure you could come up with some ingenious way to make him reversible, but we didn't. We didn't in the pattern. I don't see a big marketing for reversible items. I hope that doesn't offend anybody. Would the variegated stripe work well in Sunny's top? It would. That was the other pattern I didn't mention. 4014 is Vincent's dress, and the other one is 113 Sunny's top. And yes, just always when you're working with these variegated stripes, you want the darker at the bottom and have it variegate up to the top. And I have made so many Sunny's tops that I decided to go with the Vincent's. But I want to make another pattern that takes advantage of stripes because I don't see them going away anytime soon, and I think they're just amazing. I just love the piecework of them. This particular one that I did, I mean, like it'll be tomorrow that I wear it. I hate to wear it before the webcast. Sometimes I do just to see how it works. But I mean, I just love this. It's just incredibly cute on. And this little top over, it's a home run. It's just, the colors are really current, the stripes, everything about it. It's just really fun. All right, can you tell us more about the elastic on inside the skinny jean? The fabric is, you guys, we'll have it on the site. We put all the fabrics, and I think a lot of you don't know this, but on the very front page it'll say view our previous webcasts. So the reason we do that does not link directly to YouTube. That actually links to a page on our site, because then if you go to each of those webcasts, they're all listed, and you pull up that page, it will have all the fabrics and all the patterns we used. I get a lot of emails saying, what fabric is this? Where can I find this? They're all on that page. They're all on that page. So tonight after the webcast we'll put up that page so you can see all the fabrics we used and all the patterns we used, and everything will be on, even the notions. We have everything on there so you can see everything on that page. Okay, the elastic inside the skinny jean. Can you tell us more? Well, I don't know. It's 2-inch wide. It's just sewn inside. You want to get that nice 2-inch wide elastic. We have it on the site. We have it in black and white. I'm going to say most of the time you're going to probably want it in a black. The front of the pant, you can see it's not shown. The pant goes all the way to the top, but then it takes up like a little waistband. And I love how it just, I don't know, I love how it just shows a little bit, but the greatest thing is how good it feels on. It just feels so secure and snug on. They're tight, but they're not uncomfortable because that elastic is really giving. It's really nice. This was an Ellie Tahari pant that I found that I just fell in love with when I was trying it on. Again, not only did it fit well, it felt great, just everything about it. So that was for sure a copy. All right, so we are at 9. Can we answer any questions? Get your spring patterns, your fall patterns. You guys, you'll buy them later. You'll end up paying more. We have a great price. We have all group of 4. They're not available for individual sale yet, but every single one of them has all of the parts of fall fashion, and they're just kind of all combined into one. And our goal here at Silhouette Patterns is to help you look your absolute best, no question, to sew with fabrics that are current and fun. All right, so we're good. Could you please show a closer view of the white blouse to the camera? Sure. We'll try to do that. Let me move this out here and pull this up. This is an adorable white blouse, so we'll try to get it as close as we can. Is that better? What are you looking for to see particular, I wonder? It has rows of elastic stitching there. This is all done exactly like the pattern. Everything's done exactly like the pattern. The only thing I changed was there's 2 rows of the white lace. The bow's even in the pattern. It's exactly done like the pattern. It has little slits on the side. That's part of the pattern also. The only thing I did is I lengthened it 3 inches because I wanted to wear it with these, and I wanted to make sure it went over, I wanted to make sure it was long enough. But everything else is exactly as the pattern. All right, so we good?
Did you have to match up the stripe?
I didn't, but I cut them out at the same time and they did all match. Yeah, you're talking down here. They actually do match. And I think they look really cool, but after I did them I thought, maybe the stripe, it would have been neat to maybe use a navy solid in there, and it would have shown the feature off a little bit better. With the stripe you don't really see it because it is matched, but I think I probably should have used something else. But I love them and I'm going to wear them, but I think it'd been fun to change it up a little bit. All right, so we will see you in 2 weeks. We're going to come back with the pattern of the month for September, which is 4100 Janae's dress. You're going to be surprised because there's some really cool looks. Anyway, so we'll see you in 2 weeks. The goal is to be happy sewing, and thanks everybody for being here. Good night. Bye.